Hello everyone, this is Aya from Hinawi Software. As you can see here, I have the roadmap for the HRMS activities opened in front of me. Basically, there are several activities here displayed in front of us, and each one of those activities basically has its own specific workflow and its own procedures and processes. I have covered an entire video regarding the general roadmap explanation for the HRMS activities, and then later on I covered individual videos regarding each and every one of those activities. And regarding today's topic, we will focus on the timesheet form. We will see how the timesheet form functions, the different actions which are in the timesheet form, and how it affects the salary sheet, what are the steps which should be done in the first place in order to proceed forwards with the salary sheet, and finally we will see some general memos. Let's begin with creating an activity. As you can see here, the answer is of course yes, timesheet can be created, but there's a trick, because timesheet form can be created for timesheet employees only. It cannot be created for HR employees because an HR employee does not need to have timesheet forms for them. Editing is also possible. Of course, after creating the timesheet, you can go back to it anytime and make the edits which you require. However, voiding or cancelling the timesheet is not possible, but deleting the timesheet form which you have created is definitely possible. And regarding the printing action, it's definitely applicable, and the timesheet form can be printed in order to have a hard copy and a soft copy regarding that timesheet form. Printing the clearance, however, is not applicable on the timesheet form. It's used for other types of activities such as end of service, and designing and printing the activity form as well is not used for the timesheet form because it's a ready template, like it's a ready window which must have all the data inserted in it, and there is no designing form before the timesheet. Also, regarding importing or autofilling any previous data regarding timesheet is not applicable, since a timesheet form is created at the time of creating the new form for the employee regarding the month when he or she is timesheet employee. And notice here that we do have a starting date and we do have an ending date regarding the timesheet form, which means that you specify the schedule, you specify when is this going to start or take action, and when will it end, like the timesheet form regarding everyday's tasks, regarding everyday's duty hours. All these things depend on the starting date and the ending date regarding that form specifically. We also have a date from date to within the same month. The answer is definitely yes, because a timesheet takes place regarding the starting date and an ending date of the same month. Notice here that in other activities, we had this field entered as no, because it might be like, it might take action in 2 or 3 several months. However, in the timesheet form, it starts at the beginning of the month and it ends like at the end of the month. Next, we have the month here. Of course, it's set as yes. Month from month to is no, because you don't specify the different months. You specify the days differences in the month, not the month from month to. Same thing applies to years. You don't specify year from and year to regarding the timesheet. You only specify day from and day to regarding the same month. Notice here that we do have releasing, and we do have we do have it set in hours, because for example, I mean in days and hours, we do have them set here because you can specify the tasks or the time which will take shift into action, like the shift, when will it take action for employees, so the shift can be done in hours, in days. So that's why hours and days here are selected as yes, but releasing is no, because it's used for other types of activities such as release, the stopping of the salary. Also, notice here that the percent of employee salary is set as no, because timesheet form will not depend on any specific percent of the employee's salary, basically. Whether the employee's salary is high or low, that does not affect the timesheet. Overtime, whether it's in 1.25 or 1.50, is definitely applicable for the timesheet form, because timesheet will have a specific column for overtime, and overtime is applicable for timesheet employees in the timesheet form. However, applying the taxes is not possible for timesheet because it's used for other types of activities. Like, for example, in the salary sheet, as you can see here, taxes is applied, but in the timesheet form, taxes is not applied. Regarding the employee pension and the monthly provision, both of them are displayed here as no, because they are not applicable for the timesheet form. Notice here that in the memo, it says that the overtime reads from the setup. So you have to make sure that in the setup, the overtime is accurate and precise, and then proceed forwards with creating a timesheet form. Notice here that timesheet form doesn't have any approval. Once it's created, it's just created. There is no approval. There is no editing after approval. Of course, by default, since there is no approval, there is no editing after approval, no voiding, and no deleting. And notice here that in the setup, of course, there is a setup for timesheet. As we have said a few minutes ago, that in the timesheet, there are several points which will read from the setup, such as, for example, the overtime, shifts, any types of transactions will be reading from the setup. So there is definitely a setup for timesheet employees. And in addition to that, there is an effective date for timesheet employees or timesheet form in which it will start taking action. And the status of employees is definitely active, because at the time of creating a timesheet for any employee selected, they must be active in the system. If they're not active in the system, they will not even be displayed in the timesheet form. They will not be able to have the timesheet created for them. So they must be active, and timesheet will still make them or let them stay active. However, in the accounting effect, notice that the timesheet form doesn't have any accounting effect. So basically, there will be no posting to accounting. It doesn't depend on that, and it will not be posted to accounting. And regarding the payment method, both the cash payment, the check payment, and the bank transfer, three of them will not be applicable for the timesheet form. So basically, those three payment methods will not be applicable and will not be used in the timesheet. However, the salary sheet, which is the journal voucher, the JV, is definitely used in the timesheet form after creating the salary sheet. So this payment method is applicable. The employee's salary status is active as well for timesheet form. So not only the employee's status will be active, but the salary status will also be active. Now, regarding the collections, notice that the receipt voucher will not be applicable in the timesheet form. And notice here that we do have only the timesheet employees applicable for creating a timesheet form for them. HR employees will not be able to create a timesheet form. Their names will not even be displayed in the timesheet form. And in addition to the desktop application which we have, we also have a web module and a mobile module. And in both of them, we can create a timesheet form, and we can edit also the timesheet form in both of them. However, in the web module, notice that we cannot void and we cannot reject. We can only approve. And in the mobile module, we can create, edit, but we cannot void, reject, or approve. So this is regarding the timesheet form. This is entirely everything regarding the timesheet form. Now, I will cover an entire video regarding the salary sheet, but in general, always keep in mind that you cannot create the salary sheet for timesheet employees unless they have the timesheet form created first, and then we can proceed forwards with the salary sheet. Another point which you should keep into mind is that the salary sheet will definitely be depending on so many activities, and you cannot proceed with the salary sheet unless you make sure all activities are done successfully. Whether these activities will have direct effect or indirect effect on the salary sheet, the most important point here is that the salary sheet will definitely be affected. Now let's proceed with the memo column. I'll talk a little bit about the memo, some important points which should be taken into consideration regarding the timesheet form in addition to the other types of activities. Regarding the effective date which is used in the timesheet form, always make sure you choose the accurate date, and always make sure that the date is correct. And always also make sure you read the messages, the pop-up messages on the screen which show us before saving, because they will definitely have effects later on. In addition to that, always check the employee's status and the salary sheet status as well. Because, for example, if an employee's name is not showing on the salary sheet, you must know why, and this will show from the status. Make sure you follow the system rules, because it's customer responsibility if those rules are broken. And in case we have many leaves, each one of those leaves must be returned in order for the system to know when did the employee return. On date, before date, or after the date required. And although we can create several loans for the same employee at the same time, however, each one of those loans must be completed successfully, and the process must be fully completed and achieved. And regarding the additions or deductions, for example, we have two different options, whether posting to salary sheet is automatic or manual. In case we select it as automatic, in this case, there will be no approval required and it will instantly be posted to the salary sheet. And regarding the calculation of the annual leaves balance, this is how it's calculated. Basically, the system will read the total due days from the joining date until the start date of the leave minus the total number of days which has already been taken before. And this occurs if the leave's opening balance is not used. Another point is that in case of opening balance, the system will not take the joining date itself, but it will take the next day of the opening balance. The next point here is that the majority of activities will definitely need approval before proceeding with the salary sheet. And the user cannot create salary sheet for any month unless the previous month is created, so we cannot skip in creating the salary sheets for different months. And the system will be able to approve partial salary sheets depending on, for example, different positions, departments, employee names. So you don't have to fully approve the salary sheet. You can select specific categories, and always keep in mind that once you start the payroll start date, you cannot change your mind later, because when the salary sheet is created, it's officially starting from that specific start date of the payroll. And a lot of activities will definitely need posting to accounting, so always keep in mind that any activity which requires posting to accounting must be posted, and any activity which requires to be paid must be paid from the HR activities menu itself, not from the accounting menu, since this is an ERP system and everything is organized precisely. And also keep in mind that the payment cannot be split in the salary sheet for the same employee. This means that payment can be, for example, selected among different employees, but regarding the same employee, you cannot choose different types of payments. And here, regarding the stop or release salary and regarding the leave without pay, the main difference is that stopping or releasing the salary depends, for example, if the employee has been absent for a few days without giving a previous notice. However, leave without pay is for those who has been absent for like a lot more, like in weeks or in days or months. And the main difference between the absconded workers activity and the stop salary is that the absconded workers activity, when the employees are absent and they're actually officially out of the country, like when we're sure they're out of the country, but in stopping and releasing the salary, they're not out of the country, but we're not, for example, giving them the salary for a specific other reason. But in the absconded workers, we actually don't know their location is at all. In the stop or release salary, we are sure that they are in the country, but their salary is just stopped. So that is the main content, the main topic for today regarding the timesheet form, how it affects the salary sheet, and some general memo, explanation and description. I hope this video was clear, straightforward, and precise. Please don't forget to watch our other videos, which I have covered regarding each and every activity of the HRMS module, and make sure you share this video with your friends or anybody interested in our ERP system, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.